everybody for attending. I recognize many of you. So I'll start with a little introduction. Let's see. I just advanced the slide. It's going to show up. There you go. See? So you're here because Steve and I are going to be talking about reconnecting with academia. Nobody's getting up and leaving? All right. So quickly, my name is Casey. I am in the Madison, Wisconsin area, and I work for a company called Shine Technologies, and I've been doing LabVIEW since 2009. And Steve and I are both LabVIEW champions. And then this is Steve Watts out of the UK. Made a longer trip here than I did, and he's a champion and an NI partner. Anything else to add to that?
No, nothing else of any interest.
This isn't about us.
I like flowers.
This is I would consider this more about the next 40 years of LabVIEW. So let's just start with I want to have a dialogue, not a monologue today. So this is an open question. Who has thoughts? I don't know if he's going to have to pass the mic around. Yeah? Okay. Thoughts on why we need to engage with academia? Yeah, warning, I might not stop until everybody has given me at least one.
We need to build more LabVIEW programmers.
Build more LabVIEW programmers. Awesome.
Because the hair of the participants in user group meetings is turning more gray than ever.
All right. We should just pass the mic around. Everybody has to. If you have a thought, if you don't, you can just pass the mic.
They need to know what they should be teaching their students. Kind of provides students an opportunity to kind of see this engaged in the real world and vice versa.
This will help to build the workforce needed in the industry.
Build the workforce.
For me, I want them to know it's relevant, that if they come into our business and I want them to learn LabVIEW, they're have some awareness to it as a relevant industry tool.
I think that most students don't even know that test and measurement is a field that they can get into. And this is something that reflects, we're kind of second-class citizens compared to the design guys, So I'm trying to change that mentality, and that starts in academia.
Yeah, I'll echo that. It's to help students find their vocational passion.
Yeah, so I actually gave a presentation on this at Semicon West about 3 years ago. And I thought it was a small presentation group, and I walk in, there's 600 people in the room. And there were nothing but bald heads and gray hair. So I started the presentation. I said, everybody look around. Everybody's looking around. And I said, no, I'm not going to say y'all are old. I'm going to say there's a lot of elephants in the room. And there are no baby elephants. And they all looked at each other. And Semicon West is free for students. You just have to get them there. Right? So I'd encourage all the industry people here, I'm academia, to invite students to go to the events, participate. It's a cheap way to get them really ingrained. Right?
I don't really have a ton to add. I mean, my experience with LabVIEW was that I got engaged with it when I was a student, and I think that's how a lot of people found it. And that's a huge, an easy way to get them hooked. I think one of the challenges of it, though, is it's almost negative training, because then when you talk to people about LabVIEW that don't know LabVIEW, they're like, oh yeah, we use that in college in the lab. Like, that's not for the real world. So I think there's got to be a little bit careful with how you engage academia on it, and that's what I'm kind of interested in talking about a little bit here. So.
Yep, all my ideas have pretty much been said already.
Yeah, so I'm also faculty at a university. Probably what we need is a lot of activities like this, but for the students, like regional, when we expose them to the different applications that they can do and the different things that is possible with LabVIEW. I wrote a bunch of code that the students use in the lab, and some of them, when I bring me the resume for me to review it, they have LabVIEW. I'm like, what do you know to do LabVIEW? I'm like, well, I use it for the class. You use the program that I wrote. You are only recording, but they think that is what LabVIEW is, just using the program, but not the coding behind. So they need to be exposed to these kind of different applications. Thank you.
Awesome.
Best way to build that
So I don't have anything original, but a point that someone else made to me yesterday or the day before was kind of about how different groups of people, or different age groups of people in particular, have different ways of thinking about things or ideas about things. And so in reflection of some of the people talking about, building new programmers or groups of LabVIEW developers getting older, maybe this is a good way to try and get younger people to give ideas into existing groups of people.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Could I add one?
Yeah, Steve. I'm going to add mine too. I'm just waiting until.
Do you want to go first then?
No, go.
Was talking to Tony Bento recently, and he told me that worldwide there is a shortage of 40,000 LabVIEW programmers.
Who said
that? We can't fill it without getting some of these people out of academia. And we are in a unique position because worldwide there's a glut of other types of programmers. And they're going to have a real problem when they have that gap between the entry level that they're not bringing in right now and the people that actually know what they're doing, because no one's going into computer science right now. But with LabVIEW, we have a unique opportunity, I think, to really continue a forward trajectory if we can get back into academia and start producing some of these LabVIEW programmers that we need across the world.
All right, Steve?
So rather than just focus on LabVIEW programmers, I wonder whether we could think about the job that we do. Because my job, I'm a LabVIEW programmer, but that's not my job. My job is to solve problems and make machines work and sort out signals and make sure data's honest. And I think that expands a lot of what us old industry people can give. Putting syntax in is a very small world, but the 300 projects that I've successfully delivered, that's a big world. That's to kiddies and even postgrads who start a project, and it's the first project they've ever started. That sort of help is actually more important than showing people the syntax. It's actually showing people how you can finish and complete a project. So, yeah, that's my slightly different take on things.
Sure. So I have a few key points that I want to make throughout today. And the first one is, I think, pretty on point for test and measurement. I think about V and V. Build the right thing and build the thing right. And right now we have an opportunity to build a new connection to academia in order to have the next generation of engineers, the up and coming engineers, prepared to work in our workforce. And NI is interested in this topic. And I mean, we had a breakout at the champions meeting yesterday. They are hiring a global director for academic. I don't know what the actual title is going to be. But this is on their radar as a need. And my expectation is that you all have a lot of ideas about what you need and how you can support the learning process of tomorrow's engineers. So personally, I needed more LabVIEW developers. It drove my company away from LabVIEW. We write C++ code, deploy it to NI hardware. We still program the FPGAs with LabVIEW, but we did not have the workforce. We also have the University of Wisconsin-Madison in my backyard, but when people don't know about LabVIEW, the people on campus that use LabVIEW don't know about one another. The students on campus that are trying to do some sort of project with LabVIEW oftentimes are getting a code base that was written a decade ago by somebody who didn't know best practices. And there's a negative stigma around LabVIEW because they leave the university thinking, oh yeah, I remember that from that disaster of a class where we couldn't get the thing to work and it was impossible to add one more signal. Maybe it's not a class, maybe it's like the lab they're working in. But my goal is to harness the energy and thoughts of the community to figure out what we're going to help NI build in order to reach out to the institutions that are in our backyards. So you don't all live in Madison, a few of you do, but you live somewhere else and you're going to, I hope, form a coalition of the willing here and go forward and make something new happen with tomorrow's engineers. So that's the motivation.
Can I just ask a simple question first? I'm loud enough. I'm recording. Oh.
How many of us in here are academicians? Academicians, universities. University? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
All right. How many, so of those of you that just raised your hands, how many of you have worked with industry in your community that use LabVIEW? Okay, was that almost all? Well, okay, who didn't raise their hand when I just asked that? Okay, so 2/3 is it a regular relationship or is it an irregular? Regular relationship, raise your hand. All right. So that means 1 regular relationship, 8 irregular relationships. Well, I guess, or never relationships. So I'd like to change that. So I don't know. This next slide is not as useful right now, but this is one of the things we'll get, right? This is the story I was telling, is I know people in mechanical engineering labs that that's their code. It's the VI, right? And it's the one on the left, unfortunately. And I don't think there's error wires in there, but I couldn't tell you if there were because there's so many wires, it's impossible. I don't think that it's deliberate or malicious that they're doing that. And I think if you're here, you probably know how to do the thing on the right. So we're going to try and impart that technical piece. So we're really here to talk about getting these new users, right? And so here's the next point that I was hoping to make is the time that we're going to spend with these students, the hours that we can measure now, I think are our leading indicator of how good of a set of engineers are working for us 5 years from now. It's like if you want to not have any cavities, you don't wait and go to the dentist and find out. You like brush and floss regularly. Well, the brushing and flossing here is that engagement, right? And if we do that, we're going to have the positive results we're looking for. These next 2 slides, I just want to point out, these are North American universities teaching LabVIEW. This is from NI's slide deck. That picture there is actually a demo day that Chase was there and I was there. I'm in the blue in the back, just kind of watching. But NI sent compact DACs and laptops and the demo instructions and paid for pizza. Our local salesperson, Tristan, who said he was going to be here, but I don't see him, works for Newark. He's the account manager for the University of Wisconsin. Was very enthusiastic, had contacts inside the university, knew who the professors were, reached out to those professors, got students and professors to come to the event. So this could be happening everywhere. So the one big thing that I observed there, though, was there was a lot of interest not in the demo, but in their problem. Like, hey, Casey, can you look at my code? I didn't really have the time, but it's like, this is one of the things, and Steve made this point when we were talking about this, is like, the relationship we have here is going to be different than the relationship that we're going to have in our normal user group meetings, where it's more of an advisory role. And I'll get us to a slide on that. Here's the European map, right? I reused the picture. Actually, I didn't reuse the picture, and I reused the picture. I copied the slide. So we're wanting to connect partners and champions with academia, and and frankly, interested engineers. I don't think we need to limit it to that listed group. How many of you have belonged to a user group? How many don't? Okay. All right. So I did a little bit of research and looked on NI's website for their user groups. And there's a special section for academic user groups. How many of you knew there were academic user groups? How many of you have an academic user group? Yeah, one. The University of Wisconsin-Madison now has an academic user group, but here's a call to action. That's the list. 5 academic user groups listed on the NI website. Yet we just saw, I count more than 5 dots. So that my call to action here, it'll reconnect in a second, is let's improve this, right? So I'm going to cover a couple things about user groups and try and give you a little bit of a template for what we've done in Madison, and have Steve talk to his experience in Southampton.
Can you put this previous slide with the user groups up? I want to see it, Rochester. I can show up. Possibly. I will investigate.
Okay. This is where they're teaching. This is not where the user groups are. This map is where they're teaching in the universities.
Oh, sorry.
That doesn't mean that there's a user group at that university. There probably isn't, because there's only 5. Yeah, so that's this list, right? So Duke is on there. Call out. All right, so the standard user group is going to be a different format than the connection we're going to want to make with academia. And for the non-academics here, we are the industry experts. And we should be going with a helping hand, a watchful eye, and some idea to encourage them about, like, hey, this is a real thing that we use. Oh, I notice you're not wiring your error wires. How are you going to handle an error? Are you logging anything? What are the things that could go wrong? And help those engineers ask the question, are we building the right thing, and are we building the thing right? And then help them with the implementation so that they are.
And don't use digital filtering. Just don't. Stop it. Get the signal right. Sorry.
So yeah, it's going to be less of your peer-to-peer exchange that you might be used to if you attend user group meetings, and more of a expert to advisor or advisory role to a student. What do people think so far? I want to pause. Is this something you would be willing to do in your community? Would you be willing to work with NI to get a list of professors that use LabVIEW and talk with them? Start up a user group meeting where it's once a quarter, you meet for 2 hours and you eat some pizza and you talk about the problems they're having? Show of hands. Who would do it? All right, so almost everybody. Who didn't raise their hand? Big trouble. Okay, so like this is
I hate students.
This is like 20 universities now that we could have a relationship and get this thing started. So what's in it for you? Steve made this slide, but personally, it's like I don't want to have in another decade a situation where I really would have liked to have hired talent, but they weren't there. So,
okay, so it's probably my own term that I made up. Nancy will know it. Is I believe in selfish altruism. And I think that from a systems point of view, if everyone gets something, generally a system becomes more sustainable. This is why I thought the partners would be an interesting target for this, because a partner, for example, has a marketing budget, and they can use that marketing budget how they want to. One of those things could be, take networking. So from a business, networking doesn't always have to be, this is I'm networking towards a customer. It could be I'm looking for an employee. It goes several ways. Profit, from a pure business perspective, I work closely with Southampton University and I've got lots of work out of them, and it's university work, so it's usually quite hard. but it's fun. It's usually also quite fun, and it's nice. It's nice work, you know. I like being in universities and doing that kind of work. It's good. It gets me out of my office, which gives you the fun part. The profit is sometimes they even pay, and that's nice too, you know. And I mean, you take some universities. So Cambridge in the UK has got a research budget of £350 million a year. That's a significant amount of money. So if you want a purely business reason to do this as a partner, that sounds like a really good reason. So Southampton University spins out industries, spins out startups. Who do you think they're going to call to help start their startup? You know, so there's a lot of quite selfish reasons to be altruistic in this case. So I've been proposing to NI that they reach out to partners and tell them this, to use their marketing budget to do this kind of outreach. So that's the in it part for that.
Yeah.
For that slide, I think.
All right, so a little bit here, a template for an academic user group. So there's some pre-work to do. It's making those connections. I have another slide of like what NI can help with, which is like, okay, let's get those connections made. Let's get that list of people that are teaching, that are using, that are buying hardware. And then once you have your audience, you prep them with, well, you probably do like an intro thing and you talk about your job and how you use it. And then you say, okay, the next meeting, we're going to talk about your problems. And so they have to think, what are their problems? They have to bring their project. We're going to look at the software and the hardware and talk about it. And we're going to maybe spot, bad practices with twisted pair, not using twisted pairs, or not using any grounding scheme, or not using error wires, or not using a project.
Take Southampton University. It's a maritime university. It's not LabVIEW University. It's a maritime university. So they're good at boats and waves and not sinking. They're not very good at signals, I would suggest, in my experience. And that's all the way up, because they're all the way up, right to the top. I spend a significant amount of time improving their signals, which is fine, because it's not their domain, that's not their expertise. So this is, again, I think if we focus too closely on LabVIEW and not on actually the thing that needs doing, you can sort of say, oh, I'm only going to do a computer science type course. No, LabVIEW is a tool for doing stuff. Find people who are doing stuff and help them, because they need it.
All right, so another template here, another way we can help is a lot of courses that use NI hardware, LabVIEW software, have the need for a little bit of improvement and consulting. And the nice thing about those are they are pretty regularly scheduled. They know when the semester starts and ends and when the project is due. And so here's another little template for supporting coursework. There's going to be, then that green box is like the window of time where you might need to have some engagement, making sure that you're helping the professors get their curriculum right. And
that's the UK timetable, by the way. I don't know any others.
And actually, it's kind of drawn funny because your boxes should be around the bottom of a month and the top of the next month. But we get the point, right? So there's a couple of times in the year where helping the bachelor's and the master's and then PhD and research projects might be like ad hoc ongoing, but we can play a real role in upping their game making sure that they leave the university with the skills that we're looking for. So how can NI help? Finding people.
Question.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask about licensing because that's been the biggest challenge that I've faced. I'm at Penn State quite a bit, and like when I interact with the EE classes, they're using LabVIEw. But I spend a lot of time with the ag engineering group, and they don't have access to NI software. So I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious, because what I understood from NI is that they don't provide free software to universities, but maybe that's changed and they were just kind of giving a perpetual trial license.
Yeah.
And so that's been a kind of a barrier that I've bumped up against, because we've donated a lot of hardware, NI hardware, but we need NI to donate the software.
So this is I think we need to harvest that feedback. I'm not an expert in that, so I can't tell you what the answer is.
We got NI to change the license of the community edition so that a student can use it. So it's not free for universities, but a student can do their course and use it for non-commercial means, which gives them those capabilities. And essentially it's just the cost is licensing logging onto the NI website and giving them their email. But that is an actual license change. And, we did negotiate it for that reason. So you can get the students to use the stuff. Now, if you're training in LabVIEW, you would have to have a license to do that, which would be a professional license, I think.
So the larger universities do have a site license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the mic.
Yeah, I was going to just say that bit about the community edition, and with the academic site license, they've also started offering like separate student licenses. I don't really know, like now this is before the community edition, but I think with that comes like a bunch of like education credits, so they can take like certification exams for free, and like you get by like the training classes and like come to NI Connect and like redeem those for free tickets. So they've been pretty good about that in the last few years. But you do have to buy the site license.
I'm very keen on verbal weapons, and a verbal weapon that you can use in this case is that there shouldn't be a barrier, and we'll use it on a side. Shouldn't be a barrier from a student learning with LabVIEW, and that's come from NI. So if you want to use the language, and the more people that use it, the more people will hear it, as it were. You just sort of say to them, "This is a barrier. I want my students to learn LabVIEW, and this is a barrier." And you might be surprised that they react quite positively.
And this is what we're hearing is they want to understand, how do we think we should engage with academia? So like removing barriers, figuring out what the licensing is, pressure. That's where we need to apply pressure and be like, fix this. It was hard for me to get a list of professors. I didn't get the list of professors. The Newark Tristan has the list, right? I don't I can harvest that list of people that attend, but I don't know. There's got to be some barriers removed. So if this shows up, I got one more slide, I think, and then it's Steve's turn to do some discussion about a more affordable hardware platform. Can you pass the mic? Yeah.
Hi, Oscar from Guatemala. We used to have the LabVIEW Academy that helped a lot with terms of licensing and also to be able to promote certifications for students. And we engaged them with Amilcar, that is over there, in a course doing the electrical engineering. And when they finish, we prepare them so they will get certified, but that will be free also for the student. Mm-hmm. And that way you can have a lot of potential LabVIEW programmers. that was years ago, but then it all turned down and no academy, and now we're bringing up, and with this, I think they're going to recover this part, but that helped a lot at that moment, right? So also be engaged, and then what we did is we had a really good team up with Costa Rica, and then we were like fighting who had the more programmers and students, and with a couple of universities, and it worked fine. So there also, I think that here's our wish list. We're talking, right? So IEEE, what it does is it has this like distinguished lecturers, and there's money from IEEE that is so you can set an expert to talk to students and to motivate them. So maybe that will be something that could work. And also with IEEE, what they have is like this Central America, and they have it in other countries, but I'm talking from my perspective. It's like an event. So you want also professors to be part of an event like this one, but not all can come to NI Connect. But maybe if you have like more local things, it will be nice, and they can share also their story, right? So that will be like a couple of things that I think would be helpful there. Okay?
Excellent.
We're in a very interesting point of time. So during the bad old days, they gutted the academic part of NI, and now they're rebuilding it. So now's the time we need to tell them what we want, because I come across as a very Machiavellian, don't I? But they really want feedback, and they really want to do it right, and they're really motivated to do it right. So if there are things that you really liked that they did, now's the time, because next year they would have started doing stuff, and it's always harder to get people to wind back if they're doing stuff you don't like.
Sorry, trying to minimize.
Yeah, good luck. There's not that many things open. But...
Trying to get to the desktop.
Shame on me. Shame on me.
I don't know.
I had hours, so my plane was delayed 3 hours on the way here, so I was working and then when I got here, I haven't touched my computer except to like...
Watching all those being closed, it felt like I was falling into your computer.
So a question about some of the events that y'all have had like at your university and at Madison. So we've, in the last year and a half, 2 years, we've had NI come out a couple times and do events, and at least in the last year, they've been super awesome about yes, let's come out and do something. Our local field person has been great. Norm came out and was awesome. Kevin was there for that. Yep. And the challenge, I have kind of two challenges, is getting buy-in from faculty members who don't use LabVIEW or don't know about LabVIEw, and try to them, convince them, be like, hey, come and show up, and then getting students' butts in the seats to come, and I don't think this is necessarily a LabVIEW thing. I think it's more just maybe a student thing. And I also found that if there's not a grade associated, or if it's not strictly required for their class, it's hard to sometimes I've had a hard time getting students to kind of show up and be there. And I'm thinking one thing that I would love to have is I don't know if anyone here other than Kevin works in my area, be willing to come out and share here's my career I built in test and measurement, and this was this tool that LabVIEW was this tool that I used, and do a seminar or something, and then in the evening, hey, we're gonna have a little hands-on session with pizza, come talk to me a little bit more.
I think
I'm curious about your experience, how you can get a room of 30 or 50 or however many you get kind of showing up. And
so yeah, I mean, in Wisconsin, it was help with getting the people to communicate to. We have not cracked the nut of spreading it. We're focusing on and that should be on the roadmap, right? But to begin with, it's can we even get access to the people that are already using it? And it's unnecessarily challenging to make that happen. And then it's, can we bolster those that are already using it in a positive way? and then we can think about the next piece. You want to hand the mic back? Turn it back on. We're just going to keep messing with the AV up here.
I know enough people who use it because they have been coming to me in the past for me to review it. I haven't been teaching formally LabVIEW, but the people who know that I use it, they came to me asking me for review the code, but I am not having time to review that code. So everything that you propose, yes, I can try to do that, but I'm not going to do it if I'm not sure that I'm going to have a support behind that is going to help with those kind of things. I don't want to bring the question to the people, yeah, we will review your code, and then it becoming just my job to review the code or to train.
Yeah, I think we have to be deliberate about how we want to build this, right? It's not like, oh, and now the responsibility is solely on the 20 of you to be the one person that supports the whole university for free,
exactly,
off hours. Like, no. It's there, but there are ways, I think, to structure this, and I don't know the answer. It's like, together, we're all gonna have perspectives, and it's going to, I hope, coalesce on like a framework of how to get this done, and how to do user groups, and how to do supporting of coursework, etc. And I don't expect it to be one size fits all.
Again, in my experience, the domain is not LabVIEW. The domain is the problem they're trying to solve. And when I did the first user group, it was very LabVIEW focused. And all the questions were, can I use this camera to do this? Can I plug this in to do that? Can I? And I've been told I need to make this sensor do this, and so it was actually far more general help, general starting of project help, general advice, and it didn't eat into a lot of time, because a lot of the time it's just you know the answers because you've done the answers, and
I have seen the same. Before I have a microscope, an electrical microscope, we had to train people. They signed for the training, but they came with the sample the day of the training. I'm like, no, you don't know how to use the microscope. You learn first how to use the microscope, then we work on your sample. So I'm sure that we advertise a LabVIEW session, that are gonna all show up with the code to review, because they have happened to me. But somehow we need methodology to teach them good practice, so they can do a first try on their own, and then they explain what the error is or where the error is coming from, and then we can help, because otherwise it just be overwhelming.
So, I mean, the way I'm going to structure it for Southampton, based on the feedback, is that there will be a formal little bit of best practices encouragement and a smallish presentation on that kind of thing. But generally, it will be bring me your questions and I'll give you some answers, or we'll talk about design, we'll talk about architectures and how you can build the thing you want to build.
One good technique is just mock programming with the team and have someone else sitting in the chair. Like, you have exercise, but you're there to help foster.
Yeah, and the group of people I had in that one were, I think, about 2 or 3 professors and a few students, and so again, the questions that the professors had were very different than the ones the students have, and the budgets were different as well. So, but that's fine. That's what makes it interesting, I think, so it worked a lot better, and to formalize it like that was a much better idea.
So y'all are going to find that not one shoe fits all feet.
Yeah.
Right. There's some of us out there that are, 10,000 miles ahead of this. There are some of us who are trying to start it. Take the best lessons from those that have been successful. Use the contacts of those people that have been successful. Because I'm one of those that's successful, but I'm not too shy about to say that. But I cannot supply the demand that industry has for that workforce. Right? So I'm happy to share anything I'm doing.
Yeah. and we need to get everybody's contact information, right? Especially yours.
Well, I mean, we've
Buddy.
been working now with Texas Instruments, Teradyne, and NI for roughly 30 years, right? So we put hundreds of test engineers, mostly to TI because they're paying us. So I never worry about budget. I just go to TI and they give me the budget, right? And as
What
long as
school are you at?
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proximity.
Just right
helps.
down the road.
Yeah.
And so reality is though, every big company has this workforce need right now. And they literally went to Teradyne and said, y'all are going to support this. And Teradyne said, sure. Right? Because TI is the gorilla. Right? So as long as the effort has multiple gorillas located around the United States, we can be successful in creating not only a good program, but one that survives 30, 40, 50 years, right? I'm now about 4 years from retiring, and TI is trying to find my replacement. The university's not recruiting for my replacement. TI is, because they want to keep this little honey trail going.
That's awesome.
So this is actually the first conference that I've gone to actually talk about what we're doing, because TI is the only one who I've committed to support. Right now, Adventest is coming on board, Tesla's coming on board, and NI's coming back on board. So I still have X number of students. I need more universities, and I'm happy to share.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, because like learning from success is great. I mean, certainly less painful than learning from failure.
If I could add, we've had a lot of success with engaging with the corporate engagement group at the university, and because it's their vested interest to get as much money and donations out of us as possible. And so, I mean, connecting with engineering departments is really good, but finding the useful context is very difficult. And the corporate engagement group is really good at mining that out. And so just things have changed so much in the last 30 years, you know, in terms of state and federal funding to universities. And so they're relying on corporations and companies like us to provide a lot of those things. And so that's why they really want this strong corporate engagement. And so they have a really vested interest in working with industry. And so that's been very successful for us.
You know, the final goal is to get students to pick up tests as a career, right? And the way that works is having guest speakers every week, right? We have Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. Monday is lecture. Tuesday is heavy focus on lab. Wednesday is a guest speaker every week in 3 different test classes, right? So they're introduced to everything from calibration. That's Terry Dupner, who teaches that from NI. Everything all the way to how to test a single transistor. That's the CEO of SPEA, who comes and gives that talk.
So I'm going to stop us because we got to do some discussion of the affordable hardware. I wanted to put this slide up. Ben is the Chief Global Academic Business Manager. So Ben.Coffin at Emerson. I'm not sure how the attendance on these sessions work, but my plan is a follow-up to the entire group. It'll probably be a BCC to begin with to get you all to opt in to like sharing each other's contact information. But my intent is to, after this conference, establish a bit of a working group to partner with NI to sketch out what we think a solution looks like. So that'll be a follow-up after the conference. And without further ado, we're gonna switch the cable to Steve's. Make sure everything's still working.
Oop. All right. So I had a theory that academic hardware was too expensive for students. And I presented that theory at my local user group, and one of the young programmers said, that is exactly what happened at my university. We have a $100 budget for a project. And he said, then there's two classes. There's a welcome to LabVIEW class and a welcome to Arduino class. And he said everyone went to the Arduino class because they knew they couldn't afford any of the LabVIEW hardware, or they'd have to borrow it. And of course, borrowing it is not nearly as useful to a student who wants to work in his home and make things. So there's an issue. It's an issue that straight away excludes LabVIEW from the first thing that a student does with their project. And they reach for their Arduino. So going back to there should be no barrier to using LabVIEW in academia, this seems a bit like a barrier. So this leads me to the LabVIEW Community Training Initiative. If you've seen me outside there, I probably bored you about that quite a lot. But we've solved that problem. That problem is now a solved problem. We have hardware here, which is dollars. Yeah, that's $5. That's, the whole thing's $20. So that's nice for a student. And there's an awful lot of sensors and devices and screens and motors, drivers that we've been doing, and there's all the documentation, there's a website, and it's all just plug and play, and it's very performant, it works very nicely. Let me go through, I'll do some examples in a bit. And here's some kind of just some affordability examples. Want a little joystick? £6. Want a little screen? $5. Particularly proud of the 24-bit strain gauge. That was AliExpress, $3. A 4-channel analog input, $11. A little bit more expensive, that one. So I've been trying to build out sensors that are useful to my students in Southampton, again, because it's all boats. They're interested in strain gauges and LVDTs and position and things like that. But I'm also looking at the hobbyist side and trying to do robot stuff and pretty screens, just because Derek Bomarito did the Pico firmware for me, or for us. And he's very keen on the hobbyist side of it, so I owe him that. Thanks, Derek. So I thought I'd just this is near the end of it, but I thought I'd just give a demo disaster. So I've got a box of potential things to demo. So I need somebody to call out a column. A, B, C, D, or E, F. Come on, L. E, give me a row. 1, 2, 3. E3. Oh, not that one. Okay. That is an encoder. Digital encoder. Let me find. Have I got the right glass? No. Don't ever get old anymore. So, with this Pico has 6 digital inputs and outputs, 3 analog inputs and outputs, 2 I2C. I2C. I2C allows you to talk anything, to everything in the world, every little widget, and it talks I2C. So let's load the driver. Doop. So this is all free and open source. It has everything going with it. So if I go into Adafruit Susort encoder, which is what that is. And if I put my little camera up, you can see that's what I've got in my hand. He says confidently, there he is, out of focus. This is a $5. Oh God, where is it? This is a $5 webcam, which in the future I've got a whole vision thing ready to go as well. But shh, don't tell anyone. And that's into I2C. 0 of my little device here. So let's open him up. Where's my mouse gone? Oh, there he is. Oh, no, completely lost my mouse. wasn't anticipating. Oh, I know why. Bear with. My computer is now on its last legs. Right, so this little encoder is a very nice little device. Let's have a look on the web page. So on the web page, you go there and you go gadgets. I think it's a gadget. I think it counts as a gadget, doesn't it? Incremental rotary encoder. Tells you all about it. Tells you where to get it. Tells you how to wire it up. Tells you how to connect it. There's a little video. Tells you how to get the driver, how to go to the right place in the driver, how to open the VI. Tells you what the VI does. Huzzah. I have been working quite hard. So, he should be COM9.
Hey, Steve, how much do you get paid to develop these?
0.
So this is another point I wanted to make. About 20 years ago, I got a fortune cookie. It said, reveal your ideas, be prepared to act. All right, so I had the idea that, hey, I want to get reconnected with academia. Steve had the idea, hey, I got to integrate some affordable hardware. And so
it's a problem
so
that
make
needed
it
solving.
happen, right?
So this encoder is rather nice. It's got a little microcontroller on it. Adafruit Seesaw is the protocol. It's got a button. It's got a little RGB screen. Yeah, you see it's got a green light. Can you see that with your camera? Cameraman.
If the camera's
I can change the color of that light because it's not just a little encoder. Oh, he says, come on. Oh, it goes blue.
You're just...
That's just my finger in the way.
No, it's like all the other ones.
So go red? Red. This is quite nice because when you turn the rotary, let me turn the rotary encoder. Oh, look, it's gone minus 34. That's that. 24, 19. It's got a button on it as well. You press the button, beep, beep, beep. So it's quite a cool little thing. $2. That board, $2. So if you want to measure movement, it's done. We've done it. This is solved. The drivers are very easy. The LabVIEW part is pretty easy. It's all I2C. That's the code. But again, because it's open source, you can just download it. It's in GitHub. If you want to change, add, fork it, put it in. Be good citizens. MIT license, so do what the hell you want with it. Badge it up, sell it professionally, make a living. I don't care. I'll be pleased, in fact, if you do. Then we'll do another one. What time? How far have we got?
Well, this is the last talk. There's 2 minutes left of time, but I don't know if they kick us out.
Okay, let's do one more then. All right, give me a column in a row, someone.
C1.
C1. Oh, flesh. That one there is a
special
good
place.
one. Sure. I can just swap my demo out. Bloop. Right.
How hard is this code to write if you want to develop your own widget and add it to the CTI library of items?
You need to get quite good at hacking I2C. I have the tools. I'm probably going to put together a how to hack I2C video. Cost-wise, I've got one around here somewhere. I use a very expensive logic analyzer that I got from Amazon. It cost me $10. It's bloody brilliant. So I can get help with equipment. Right, where were we? So there's a little screen there. So I'm going to cheat and just use my data. Oh no, let's open it up properly.
So what does this thing that we chose do?
It's a little OLED screen. So a little OLED screen, you get 64 by 128. The issue is I need to try and remember what COM port it is. So the last COM port was COM9, wasn't it? Let's try COM8. So he is plugged into I2C1. So let's change that to I2C1. Let's see if I've got it right. Bloody hell, I have. Who'd have guessed? So, cameraman,
Can you bring the camera window to the front?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Shade. Look at that. Well, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's got a filter on it, that one, so it's a blue and yellow. You can't get a white one. They actually look much nicer, the white ones. And the way, I'm going to show off now because this is my favorite driver. That is just a LabVIEW 2D picture.
You just put noise in there?
Yeah, it's just random noise. Let me show you the block diagram. Random noise, I build a picture. 2D picture arrays. There's my noise generator. Pop, pop, pop. That picture you then see in there. We then have a look at the code.
Can you put a sine wave in instead?
You can have anything you like. Anything you like. Because this is how I sort it. So here's it being converted into I2C messages. But the bit I like best is how I do that, because that's an array of pixels. And that's how you build the pixels and the I2C stuff. So anything that you can build in a picture, you can now display on an OLED, which is nice. Well done, me. Nobody else bloody says it if I don't. So this little jobby here, which is quite a nice demo rather than an example. Let me shut this one off. Boop. He says, oh, it's not plugged in. It's not going to work by telepathy.
Just think really hard about it.
Yeah, just yes. So what was he? He was 8. It's quite likely I'm going to plug this in the right way because I'm just taking a punt. So if that doesn't work, hard stop, die. If I get this right, bonus. Nope. Haven't got that right. Swap them around. But the good thing about all this Grove stuff is I'm not blowing up the hardware by changing pins on a breadboard. I'm just swapping connectors, which is considerably nicer to deal with. Oh, right now, we've got a little thermal array here. $12. And if I walk past it, it looks at me. Because I'm the hottest person. Yeah. So I thought it was a fun demo. I enjoyed that one. But the thing from a teaching perspective that you can do with this little array, these Com8, is you can teach people all about interpolation, which is cool. You've probably seen what Normski's done in this demo. So, it's nice graduation. There with. Boop. I2C1. Boop. So it's an 8x8 array, but using the magic of magic, you can actually see fingers. And it's just magic. There's no scientific. It's devilry and magic. That's the only explanation for it, I think. How you can make things out of nothing. But you can see this is quite fast as well. That's updating a nice old lick. So I2C, everyone should use it. And there are a considerable amount of drivers that I have already done. And they're all documented, apart from I've got a nice little LED thing going. I haven't documented that one yet, but it will come. And next year will be a vision side and a new course. So here, there's course materials and all sorts. This is going to be a collection of courses. So if anyone got courses they want to open source, here's a good place to put it. But the idea behind all of this is now when the students have that fork in the road and they go, shall we go to Arduino or LabVIEW? They can go to LabVIEW. There's an alternative. And the more people that know that, the better. So, don't know if I've got any more slides. Let's have a look. Is that my last? Oh, there's loads on that.
Microphone?
Oh, GDevCon. Everyone should go to GDevCon. Eli said, and I haven't actually got a slide, and it's my event. Never mind.
So if anyone needs more GPIO input outputs, the chipboard supports a couple of, I think 8 you mentioned, GPIO ports. But Arduino or any other TI microcontroller, they have up to 40 or 60 GPIO in one board.
Yeah, Arduinos are too weak to put this on, unfortunately. You need something like an ESP32.
So can anyone use multiple of these?
Yeah. My
in the
demo
VR?
I've had running is every one you plug in. The other thing you can do.
And use a single VI to interact with the multiple.
Yeah, they're all individual VIs, and you can have multiples going in. You can split and fork I2C as well. A lot of things have got programmable addresses, so you can have multiple things running all at the same, just because they've just got different addresses. There's also the thing I'm working on at the moment. So this little encoder, I said it had a Seesaw chip on it. That's another microcontroller. That Seesaw chip you can buy for about $2. That comes with a lot of GPIO on it. And all you're doing is writing I2C to that chip, and it sets the GPIO off. And that's available for pennies. GPIO is actually dirt cheap. You can buy, it's one of my next jobs is a multiplexer chip, just so you can expand the GPIO and program it. It's an ongoing project, shall we say. But if there are requests and specific things, I mean, I've got strain gauges. It's 24-bit strain gauge. If I take you through what's on the list quickly, if you So what you've got is a joystick, a rotary potentiometer, nice little screen, RGB screen, little screen, buttons. Can't remember what that one is. Oh, that's a 4-channel ADC, LCD screen. That's the digital to analog converter, so an analog out. Relay, LED, buzzer. So that would have been a good demo. It's like I've got a piano demo for that one, which is very annoying. Thermocouple, gesture sensor, so you can have a screen that you just waved your hand and it'll tell you what you've waved. Thermal camera, gyro, 6-axis. That is a bridge, Wheatstone bridge, 4-wire, 24-bit chip, and that's a rotary encoder. I've also got motor drivers, which I didn't want to wire up, so I didn't include it.
That was my question. Any actuators can be controlled DC motors, servo motors.
DC motors you can. I still haven't finished the stepper motor side. Apparently the Grove can do it, but I've not managed to get it going.
Not even with the LN298 stepper driver?
That's the one I've been using, and I haven't got it going. It's a failure on my part, but time is time. But that's on the. I definitely want stepper motors done. And the other kind of standard tools you get pulse width modulated out, so you've got all the PWM stuff for servos. That's all done. There's a lot of digitary stuff. I've got electromagnets that you can use, which are quite cool. So you got a lot on board on those already. You've already got 6 per, which is okay for teaching. It's okay, but even then, having a couple spread out, it's just serial ports here. As long as you've got a USB hub, you can have as many as you like going. You can have up to 32.
What is the ADC? How many bits?
16 bits. On that particular one, it's an ADS 115, which is 4-channel, 16 bits, up to 100 samples per second. Probably not 16 bits, I wouldn't have thought, but I'm trying to figure out. There's a programmable relay card as well, which is nice. It's four relays with programmable address. So that means you can have 127 of them, I think, on a single bus, which is amusing. But I haven't tried that. So that's it's all community training. There's a lot of other things we're doing on that as well, to do with single board computers and running LabVIEW on Linux and virtual machines and things like that for free.
What other questions do you have?
So in your email to all the people that have attended this, you might want to extend that to all the people that are part of the academic forum, right? Because that's mostly professors, right? So there were 50 of us in there.
Okay.
Spread the word.
Get permission.
Is that so? This is recorded and then available to conference attendees, or just
This
people
will be
that?
on YouTube in about a month.
Okay, awesome. 70.
Well,
awesome.
I did think about gate crashing it.
I didn't have age to so I couldn't make it. You have the 71.
Yeah, so it would be nice to try to speak. We have a project just like that working with ESP32. A couple of things also.
Where everything is open source, I wouldn't put it on to Derek to do it because he's got enough on his plate. But where it's open source, he has made concessions for different platforms. What you're limited to is platforms with 2 cores because it's a Visa overlay. It has to have 1 core waiting for Visa commands and another core doing other stuff. So that limits you. That's where Arduinos aren't any good because they're single core. And we have to write it in C++ because that's the only way you can get 2 cores. Suck it, Python. But I think the ESP for 32 is where I would like it to go. I mean, we have also plans for the future. I'd quite like triggered acquisition and things like that. But I'm wondering whether that can all be done with I2C. I'm reasonably sure you can find a triggered acquisition card, which I think that would be quite cool. I haven't found one yet that has been affordable. I'm trying to do everything to a budget. My last 2 that I've got that I'm working on is a thermal camera, a big thermal camera, not an actual thermal camera, and for a 0 to 20 analog output, 0 to 20 milliamp analog output, because I have a need to simulate that. So it'd be quite a useful thing for me to have just my own work.
Great. So let's try to talk later, and it will be nice. I tried to pitch it before COVID, and they said no. But now with this new opening, maybe it will be a good time. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
So this is about the user groups thing. I'm coming at this from a different perspective. I help organize the Bay Area LabVIEW user group meeting, which is not an academic user group. But the thought has crossed my mind, hey, there's a lot of schools around here. Why aren't we seeing people from the schools coming to the existing user group meetings? And we did have one user group meeting that was in a different location, thinking maybe it's closer to the schools, maybe more students will show up. That didn't necessarily happen. What would you say, what would your advice be to us? It's like, wait until this is sorted out? Try to get them involved in local user group?
Data point in helping us sort it out. So at the UW, we did the demo day. Then we did we invited professors to our user group. Well, professors and students. Then they decided that they wanted to start their own user group. So they invited us to campus to talk at their user group. And now they're not on the list though. I don't know what you got to do. Probably email the right person. But and there were some comments about distance because like we hold our user group meetings at the local companies, and it's 6 to 10 miles away, and it's like, oh yeah, it's too far for students. They can't. And there's no regular bus that runs out to Sub-Zero. There might be a couple a day that run past there. So I think it really is going to where the students are. That's part of the mix for the solution. Based on what I've heard from the professors that I've spoken to so far. So, traveling is an issue. So you got to go there.
It sounds like the first step is getting those contacts from.
Yeah, and that was that was, so Nikita Fallon, who doesn't work for NI anymore, reached out to me because she was going to be in Madison for a figure skating competition. And she's like, she contacted Tristan, our Newark sales guy who does the academic accounts at the university, and me. I don't know how she got my contact information except that I'm a known entity. And it was like, let's do this demo. And then it kind of organically got to be like, okay, now we have a few contacts. It was going through that Newark person still though. It was like, okay, now let's invite them to the user group, and Newark helped sponsor the user group.
So since Nikita is no longer with NI, who would you say are the people to reach out to? Is the local?
So I think Ben Coffin, who I showed, and then what's her last name?
Carla Grew.
Well, Carla Grew.
She's probably, I don't know. Yeah, I get very confused with the
C-A-R-L-A.
job titles.
Yeah, so she's
very high up.
Yeah,
high enough.
She was at the Champions thing yesterday and was leading the discussion with the people that were interested in this topic. So I think it would be her and Ben, and then they are hiring another person. So
they are hiring academic sales support managers, and it will be on them to be doing all of this work. I think that's how it works.
But I would suggest that this doesn't succeed by NI trying to figure it out.
No.
And it doesn't succeed by us trying to do it without NI. And it doesn't succeed if we don't help the academics with, how they teach. So it's going to be this collaborative solution. And it's probably going to be a little bit different everywhere. But I'm hoping we can come up with here are the ingredients you got to put together and have, the free pizza and the discussion and get it going. And here's a way that it's worked before, a template to follow, a good cadence, a time of the year where, the students are on campus but not worried about midterms or finals, and, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's a few pieces that need to be ironed out, and then this becomes something that's easier to do.
Yeah, my relationship with Southampton University is a professional one. I've written software for them, so that's how I got in. So if you're a partner and you have university companies or customers, then you have to use that, I guess, because NI doesn't have a huge and exhaustive list of contacts anymore. Again, they're building that up.
So the thing that I found being really close-knit TI has their companies that they work with, and they have their professors they work with that aren't advertised.
Yeah.
But I know who they are, right? Yeah. So the concept is, if we're going to do this, it probably under the academic umbrella falls under what we call a consortium, right? Willing people looking at a global problem. Academia has the resources to create a solution. Industry has a problem that needs a solution. Students are the solution. Everybody wins, right? So I'll be happy to share what I know after I contact them and say, hey, can I tell them about you? But I know at least 8 professors that are doing active semiconductor tests in classes around the U.S.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So it's...
And I've suggested to NI that all the partner managers say to the partners, there's an opportunity, and they then do push back the other way. So you have the academic pushing this way and the partners. But so I think that could...
The hardest thing to find is a professor that's willing to change their classes. They incorporate this stuff into their material. Right? That's a hard thing to find.
And I honestly, like, how hard is it? Harder than a CLD level exam to do a solution for some of your coursework?
So in the data converter test class, we do correlation studies between ETS 364 and the PXI LabVIEW solution. We then age those chips to 40 years in a thermal chamber and retest them. That's about a half the lab.
Yeah, so like, but like the code complexity, if we needed to rewrite, if I as a professional were gonna volunteer to help rewrite their curriculum and make some code to go with it, is it harder than a CLD exam?
No.
So it's like a day.
For you, yes.
Right? So there's, but I'm just trying to put like a rough order of magnitude of burden. It's not like everybody here has to spend 6 months to like develop the curriculum. We're the experts that do this stuff day in and day out. And it's like, okay, well, we'll have to agree on a format, like a style that we're good, and maybe a producer consumer sort of architecture. And
when we created the validation class, it was requested by TI that we create a class in validation. I went to TI for the summer. I took 2 students with me that were the workers, and there were 8 validation engineers that were assigned as part of their duty to actually develop the class with us.
That's nice. Yeah.
So it was a team of 11 of us for the entire 3 months. We came out with, state-of-the-art list of equipment that TI had to purchase, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a team event. Yeah.
And those eight engineers from TI were paid employees, right? So you're getting real buy-in from industry. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah. And all 8 of them moved up the tech ladder because of that. So there's a big advantage to them as well.
Excellent. All right. We're way over. Thank you, everybody, for staying extra.